If foreign organizations are influencing political outcomes, how should Washington respond? I want to go to former Ohio State Secretary of State Ken Blackwell. And Ken, you served on President Trump's Election Integrity Committee. Some people call it meddling, some call it an attack. Certainly, there was an effort to disrupt. I don't think it was just the election process, but to sort of stir up trouble in America, highlighting, to Christina's point, the fissures that we already have in this society, to just, to quote unquote, for lack of a better term, mess us up.
Oh, absolutely, Charles. And look, not ever since Roosevelt sat across the table from Stalin, we've known that you have to keep the Russians and our other foreign adversaries in front of us. So we shouldn't be surprised that there is this attempt to disrupt our democratic process, to sow seeds of dissension and division. These guys are masters, whether it's Iran or China or Russia. Those folks who have capability of manipulating our cyber networks are going to do it. It's part of their nature. And so we have to be very, very, not only defensive, but we in fact have to take the offense in terms of making sure that we are taking the steps and doing the things necessary to protect the integrity of our elections and our democratic process.
So what exactly would those things be in your mind? Because we look at, for instance, some of the techniques used for old school, going back to 2 or 3 decade-old phishing schemes that seem to work pretty well. People whose password is password, and open up these sort of these phony-looking emails, and they still open them up and share information. So how does the government plug all of those holes?
Well, look, first, we can't think that the government is going to be able to do it by themselves. I applaud Facebook for shining a light on these curious activities by foreign actors. And there's an old biblical saying, I think it's in John 3, those who would do evil love the darkness. And so transparency and shining lights on these activities are going to be very, very important. But it also requires us to be smart citizens. We just can't eat the soup that is served up to us. We have to, in fact, inspect it. And that's so very, very important that we don't surrender our individual responsibility to be thoughtful about what and discerning in what we, in fact, take in and what we base our political decisions on.
Yeah,
look, at the end of the day, we have bad actors, both internal and external, and we just have to be vigilant and smart. And one of the steps that we need to do from a national security standpoint is to make sure that we clean up our voter rolls, because once we have faulty and bloated voter rolls with folks who have moved or not there, that's a problem.
I want to transition, but I want to let you clarify what that means, because some will say that's a euphemism for blocking people from voting, like ID and other things. I mean, when you say clean up the rolls, what does that mean?
Well, look, we in fact have rules and regulations. There's no reason for you to be registered to vote in Ohio if 3 years ago, 2 elections ago, you moved to Wyoming. The fact of the matter is that we need to have a process that allows us to clean up our rolls, and that requires interstate cooperation,
right.
And that's what we don't have enough of.
I want to get your thoughts on President Trump calling on Jeff Sessions to end the Mueller probe. What do you think?
Well, look, I think that this whole notion of Russian collusion is a distraction. It takes us away from what we should be talking about. That's our economy moving again. That's the pay increase that workers are taking home. The fact that folks who get their hands dirty are building our infrastructure and our homes and things together again. We need to be focused on the fact that $3 trillion are focusing coming back into this country, growing our economy, and not a false narrative Russia collusion
Right, but-
and the president's participation.
But I mean, so far there's been no
I think
evidence of collusion, and it's been going on for a long time. At this point, why not just let it run its course?
Well, well, if it's going to run its course, then that means that it's going to go past the election, and again, that in itself can be a distraction.
Could you imagine how explosive it would be if they ended it right now before the midterm elections?
Well, it's how he ends it. If, in fact, he says, look, this is how long we've been working. We don't have any evidence of collusion. It's over. Then it's over. If, in fact, he has not exhausted every rock and crack in the cement, then he needs to continue, and we need to just let it ride its course.
Well, they followed every rock, crack, real and imaginary so far.
Absolutely, Charles.
Yeah.
I agree.
But I don't know. I honestly think politically that could be a real tough one. I got to let you go in 30 seconds, but quickly, the Journal put out an article suggesting President Trump wants the Republicans to lose the House in the midterm elections. I find that to be ludicrous, but what do you think?
I would agree with you, Charles. The fact of the matter is that if Republicans lose the House, they will impeach the president, and it, in fact, will stop the forward progress of our economy. Americans like the fact that they're back to work again, that we, in fact, are defending our borders like any other rational country, and that we are a country that is the most diverse, the most prosperous in all of human history, and we want to maintain that status.
All right. Ken Blackwell, thank you very much, as always. Thank you.
Good to be with you, Charles.